Hello everyone, and welcome to my DOOL Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The spoilers for Friday, October 27th Days of Our Lives episode hint that Gabby DeMera reconsidered accusing Kristen DeMera of child abuse, since she would be furious if she were Kristen. Gabby was informed by Stefan DeMera that Kristen was the only one who would ever see these videos, not even judges. Since they had to adhere to their objective of obtaining Kristen's DeMera shares, Stefan forced Gabby to complete editing the clips together. On Friday's episode of Days, E.J. DeMera persuaded Kristen to temporarily give him her shares for her own security in the town square, because Gabby and Stefan might do anything. Kristen erupted in laughter at E.J.'s attempt to convince her of this, but he persuaded her to support him by voting in order to remove Stefan. Kristen conceded that E.J. had her ear, even though she wouldn't consent to it right now, and she decided to give it some thought. Brady Black was forced to acknowledge by Marlena Evans at the townhouse during Friday's DOOL broadcast that Gabby and Stefan intended to create the impression that Kristen had abused Rachel Black. Marlena thought this was completely immoral and was horrified because Kristen would never physically harm Rachel. Marlena cautioned Brady about the dangers, but Brady was desperate and didn't care as long as he got Rachel back. Regarding Stefan and Gabby, they set up a surprise for Kristen by showing her the video of Rachel saying her mother had given her a black eye, and then showing her asserting that she would discipline her daughter as she saw fit. When Kristen discovered Brady was now being duped, she became enraged about the plot. Gabby and Stefan firmly stated that they had no intention of presenting this fictitious proof to the judge. They just worried about voting power, so this was all about the shares, and Kristen could even keep the dividend money. Stefan continued by saying that Kristen should remind Peter Blake to vote with them, but Kristen countered that they would not be able to take over DeMera Enterprises. While Gabby and Steen accepted it, they believed they were moving in the right direction and could at least prevent E.J. from removing Stefan. Later, Kristen informed E.J. that since she had already given the demonic DOOL her shares, it was too late. Kristen angrily said that she had no option when E.J. questioned why she would do that. On Friday's episode of Days, Stefan and Gabby went to the townhouse once more to inform Brady that all of the video had been completely erased. Brady came to the conclusion that blackmailing Kristen to achieve their goals was Stefan and Gabby's main goal, not actually assisting him. That resulted in an enraged Brady shoving Gabby and Stefan out. Steve Johnson provided updates in Kayla Johnson's office regarding his attempts to persuade Chad DeMera to stand up for Stephanie Johnson, which may have escalated the situation. Kayla could relate to Chad because she had experienced the loss of a true love. Kayla wasn't sure she would ever experience love like that again, back when she believed she had lost Steve for good. Naturally, this caused Steve and Kayla to worry that Stephanie would have to contend with the ghost of Abigail DeMera. In the Friday's Days episode, Stephanie confessed to wanting to get married as soon as possible, which made her feel awkward. Stephanie had attempted to minimize the situation ever when she learned that Chad preferred to wait. Although Stephanie accepted that Chad had been struggling since losing Abigail, she felt compelled to tread carefully because all of their tension seemed to be directed toward Abby. Stephanie was concerned that she would always be in her cousin's shadow. Although Chad reassured Stephanie that his ultimate goal was to wed her, Stephanie found it difficult to accept that. Stephanie was concerned that she could misinterpret Chad's circumstances after considering how her former partner abandoned her in Seattle when things became serious. When Stephanie moved in with Chad and the children, she figured they would be married eventually. Chad reassured Stephanie that he loved her and expressed his desire to marry her in the future. Stephanie shot back, saying Chad didn't love her as much as his late wife, and he left the restaurant. After that, someone watched Stephanie leave the pub while hiding outside. Chad lingered at the bar to drink, pout, and tell Kate Roberts Brady about his altercation with Stephanie. After arriving home, Stephanie chatted with Steve on the phone and realized that he wasn't trying to start a fight. Stephanie mentioned that she just needed some alone time, even though Steve offered he could come over with Kayla. Stephanie thought it was trick-or-treaters when someone knocked on the door. Stephanie dropped the candy bowl as she opened her door and gasped at the person who had arrived at her house. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Stephanie's ex-boyfriend is about to cause quite a stir in Salem, so keep an eye out. Spoilers for Monday, October 30th episode of Days of Our Lives indicate that Stephanie Johnson will not stop staring at the gorgeous visitor who has just shown up at her house. Even though that guest did not appear on TV on Friday, Everett Lynch will finally make an appearance on Monday's episode of DOOL. Stephanie will become enraged as soon as she gets over her shock at seeing Everett again. Everett's presence there will be perceived by Stephanie as a brave move, given that he broke her heart by abandoning her years prior. According to Teasers for Days, Everett will affirm that he never, or at least never intended, to ghost Stephanie. Fans of DOOL can anticipate that Everett will introduce a bizarre tale that Stephanie won't easily accept. Everett will tell her a story that sounds so bizarre and soap opera-like that Stephanie doesn't think it's real. Days may choose to incorporate a few details from Nick Fallon's past in that story, such as his ride down the river and head injury, in order to give a humorous homage to Barra's previous position. But as Everett is a completely new character with no connection to Nick, he will start his tenure with a blank slate. Everett will draw Stephanie into a kiss to show that he still loves her because he knows she won't believe his account of events. According to Teasers for Days, Stephanie will briefly fall under Everett's spell of kissing, but she will ultimately shove him away and declare she has gone on. Stephanie DiMera will keep her word to Chad DiMera and his kids, even though they are now experiencing difficulties. Now that Kristen DiMera has signed over her shares, Stefan and Gabby DiMera will relish the taste of success in the interim. Gabby and Stefan will strategize after taking a minute to celebrate, because they now lack the necessary number of votes to hold full DiMera authority. Regarding EJ DiMera, he is going to have a massive meltdown after he lost Kristen's shares to Gabby and Stefan. Nickel Walker will attempt to soothe an enraged EJ who is about to lose it. Maybe Nickel may counter that EJ should focus more on his family in any case. Given that they are about to go quickly forward with their wedding, EJ might determine Nickel's correct. Marlena Evans will give Lee Shin advice in the interim during a disconcerting therapy session. Marlena will want to talk to Lee about his severe problems, so she will follow up with him and try her best to support him once he opens up. According to previews for Days of Our Lives, Marlena will be hoping to help Lee advance, but unpleasant news is on the horizon for him. Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.